It's time for...
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action.
All week long, we ask the listeners to send in their funny items or stories from their local daily or weekly newspaper or website now. And any story involving the local constabulary, the police department in your city or town, or something you see online from some other place. All it has to be is humorous or funny. And we ask you to send it to Grace at Howie Carr Show, Grace at HowieCarrShow.com, I should say. Or you can fax the stories to us. We still have a fax machine, 857-284-8864. And at this time, it can come from your local daily or weekly paper. It can come from the local column that the police author themselves, the police log or the police blog, depending on what the paper is. It can come from a standalone story. It can come from anywhere. Just send it to Grace at HowieCarrShow.com. And at this time, each Friday evening, Grace reads the funniest entries of the week, in her opinion. And the two best entries of the week, in her opinion, get a nice prize. What do they get this week, Grace?
Well, you know what, Howie? I'm going to the 110 Grill tonight for my big dinner. And since the prize for that, for signing up, was a Plug Uglies, I think the winners of this will get a Plug Uglies.
Sounds good.
All right, here are the runners up. They do not win a prize. And I'm going to preface this by saying a huge amount of these stories this week just happen to come from one state in particular. And that's okay. And we're not judging that state. Florida. Drunk Florida man arrested for DUI admits, damn, I'm buzzed. This is out of Charlotte County, Florida, Howie. I don't know how close that is to you.
I think it's on the other coast.
Oh, sure. So you always say. A man was arrested in Charlotte County for a DUI after leaving the White Elephant Bar.
The White Elephant? Isn't that the name?
Pink Elephant Bar.
Isn't the White Elephant on Nantucket?
A Charlotte County deputy pulled a tan Lincoln Town Car over for careless driving on Monday. When the deputy asked the driver for his license, Charles Kensel handed over his credit card instead. The deputy explained that his license was needed, but Kensel said, "See, I told you that's it." After he was able to produce his license, Kensel told the deputy he had 4 rum drinks at the White Elephant Bar.
He was supposed to tell him, nah, just put however much you want on that.
Yeah,
okay,
a couple of beers. Come on. He must have really been buzzed. Speaking of which, the White Elephant has just expanded to Palm Beach around the corner from where I live.
I know.
I don't think he was drinking there, though, Grace.
But Howie, you're absolutely right, because what people usually do is it's like when you ask a guy, how tall he is, or if you ask him a question, they always usually either people downplay things. You know what I mean? You're not gonna start with what you had. So if he's saying 4 rum drinks, that's got to mean like what, 8?
At least.
On the way to jail, Kensel said, "Damn, I am buzzed, and I shouldn't have been driving after drinking. Do you forgive me?" According to the arrest report. He also repeatedly told the deputy his name.
Why didn't they have a designated elephant to take him home from the White Elephant?
That's a very good question. Florida man blacked out before using scissors to sever his wife's lover's parts.
Yeah. If he blacked out, what happened to the guy he did it to? What do you think? Do you think he blacked out too? He wished he blacked out.
Every time we play that sound, it's like, it's so bad for every situation. A Florida man who allegedly used a pair of scissors to cut off his wife's lover's privates claimed he blacked out during the attack. Alex Bonilla is set to plead guilty Thursday. He attacked in the victim's mobile home in Bell. Where's Bell, Howie?
Nowhere near me. It was a Grace.
It sounds like a panhandle town.
Grace, you have to use the modern terminology. He did not slice off anything. It was a gender reassignment.
Oh, this is like a Mr. Potato Head situation?
Yes, exactly.
Bonilla barged into the victim's home and threatened him with a handgun and a metal pipe. He tied up the man to his bedroom and said, You are not going to die, but you are going to have something to remember this for your whole life. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing.
And he was right. Sometimes you make statements that are just, hyperbole. They're untrue. In this case, he was telling the exact truth of the matter. He always will remember this day.
But this is what's so weird about it. Like, I'm not laughing what the guy did, but just the way he's talking to this person, the victim, he said, "This is normal. You will not die today." Is it? To you? And then Bonilla took a pair of scissors and began cutting.
And the guy said, "Wait a second, Bonilla, if you'll let me go, I'll buy you 4 rum drinks at the White Elephant."
Yeah, exactly. Longhorn Steakhouse customer in Florida arrested for harassing customers. We're only on Florida's right now.
Okay, where was the Longhorn
Does this have
Steakhouse?
to do with masks?
No, actually, Taylor, it doesn't even have to do with shoes. This is out of Lady Lake, Florida.
These are not these are not towns near me.
These are not towns that you're familiar with. A woman was recently arrested after a bizarre series of events at a Florida restaurant. The woman's behavior was apparently so disruptive. This is how you know, Howie, that she was behaving badly. The restaurant had asked her to leave without paying her check.
Wow. You're right.
Yeah. Heather Hirsch was at a Longhorn Steakhouse restaurant in Lady Lake on Tuesday night. On a Tuesday. When officers arrived in the scene, they reportedly
I thought
found
Tuesday was a health night.
For most people, it's a get your life together night. That's the night you do your laundry and try to figure things out. So when officers arrived in the scene, they reportedly found Hirsch barefoot in the bar and acting erratically. According to reports,
Florida, you don't have to wear masks anymore in most bars and restaurants, but you do have to wear shoes. That requirement has not gone out the window.
And here you said it was free America. Selling us a false bill of goods. According to the reports, Hirsch had ordered a meal and drinks at the restaurant earlier in the night. After her meal, she allegedly took off her shoes and began walking around the restaurant asking other patrons for cigarettes. A Longhorn manager reportedly told police that the restaurant didn't care if Hirsch paid her bill. They just wanted her to leave. When she refused, she was brought into custody. That's quite a sight. Someone bumming cigarettes while barefoot at a bar. Ugh.
I never cared much for the Longhorn Steakhouse.
Guys, Police Blotter Facts Friday is brought to you by Piantadosi Baking Company, celebrating over 100 years of baking excellence since 1916. I love Piantadosi bread. It is the best bread around, and you can usually find it at your local markets, so make sure you check it out.
The thing about the Longhorn Steakhouse, that's one of those places that has Texas toast, which sucks compared to Piantadosi.
Not as bad as
dinner rolls.
Howie, Texas toast or Texas toes?
I guess in her case, after she had her Texas toast, she took off her shoes and people could see her Texas toes.
Yeah, and there is no bread out there as good as Piantadosi. I agree with you on that. A driver in a carpool lane in California busted with a masked mannequin in passenger seat.
That's good. He should have been given a Comic Gold Award for that.
A driver in California.
Was this in one of those high occupancy vehicle lanes?
Yeah, so a driver in California was busted driving around in the carpool lane with a lifelike mannequin riding shotgun. The mannequin was even wearing a face mask. A California Highway Patrol officer pulled up alongside the Toyota Tacoma and thought something was odd when he noticed the passenger wasn't moving. He initiated a traffic stop over suspicion that the driver's tinted
the passenger had come from the White Elephant, Grace. That's why he wasn't moving.
Well,
he was comatose.
Howie, this guy was good. He was clever. I mean, he had a really good mannequin, but it's kind of like in Ferris Bueller when he has the mannequin. You have to have a way of having it move just a little bit, even if it's just like a little something attached to the arm. So there's some movement in it, because that's what tipped off the police. They said, why is this passenger so still? And that's why they pulled him over. Just an idea.
In Massachusetts, when Mike Dukakis was governor, it was fashionable to have a Mike Dukakis dummy for the HOV lanes.
The California Highway Patrol shared an image of the mannequin, which had on a pair of reading glasses and was wearing a red flannel shirt, a Cleveland Indians hat. So that's
a hate crime.
And a face mask. It even had wrinkles on its face and gray hair sticking out from underneath the cap. By far one of the best dummies we've ever seen, they said. At least he was following CDC guidelines by wearing his face mask. He was fined $490, Howie.
Oh, that seems really unfair.
And wait till you hear this story. New blood alcohol record recorded by highly intoxicated motorist.
I saw this one.
This is out of Oregon. And what
he broke the all-time world's record set by Ted Kennedy every night for the last 50 years of his life.
But you have to remember, like, I understand he broke the record, but this is just from people who've been breathalyzed. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there who could probably top it. They just never.
Yeah, but remember the guy who died last year in Colorado? They claimed it was a COVID death, and then it turned out that he'd blown a 0.55. That was his blood alcohol level, and they he died of alcohol poisoning. But what was this guy's? Tell people what.
0.77, and what appears to be a new record for extreme DUI. A motorist's blood alcohol content was measured at 0.77, more than 9 times the legal limit, after he crashed his car following a short police chase. According to investigators, the driver, who has not been named pending the filing of criminal charges, was involved in a hit and run in a city 125 miles away from Portland. Upon locating the suspect vehicle, a Ford Explorer, cops sought to pull over the driver, but he sped away. A short chase ended when the man, who cops described as highly intoxicated, lost control of his car and crashed into a concrete barrier. So they brought him to the hospital, and he was 0.778.
I would think you'd be dead at that point. If there's somebody from the emergency room who's listening, can you text us what the usual fatal level is? I would think it would be 5.0 or something like that, considering the guy in Colorado was dead with a 5.5.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things where everyone's so different. By the way, Howie, I have one last local one before we go to break.
BAC levels above 0.40 are potentially fatal.
Anything above 4.0, okay.
And
so he was almost double the potentially fatal level.
So this is a story out of Boston.
He was charged with impersonating a Kennedy, too.
Boston cyclist attempts to bike over a frozen Charles River and falls through. Boston cyclist Lucas Brunel took a spill into the Charles River after attempting to bike over the semi-frozen river last week. Brunel,
stay in the bike lanes, Charlie.
That's why we have them for you. And now you're going across the river? He said, I ride my bike the same way I trade stocks. It's my nature to take high risks and high return.
That reminds me of one of my favorite videos on the internet when they're interviewing the people who are running in the snow.
Yes.
She's like, oh, it's just so soft and it's so nice. It's good for the knees. And she takes off and just takes a digger.
Yeah, she goes, it's actually better to run in this. It's actually a lot safer. You get a lot of traction in the snow. She just wipes out. The plunge into the Charles didn't stop Brunel from hopping back on his bike and pedaling over more ice as he was spotted by he was spotted by local onlookers. Howie, my 2 winners are fabulous. They're really good, and I cannot wait to read them.
All right. 413 says, if this guy were the boss, he'd be all set. Yeah. I love the tweet that Donald Trump Jr. sent out with the story about Springsteen beating the rap, and he said liberal white privilege. That's exactly what it was, liberal white privilege. If you haven't tried Super Beets Heart Chews, you are missing out on a really great product that's very tasty and it's very good for you. It's good for
I'm having one right now.
It's good for your heart health. I'm getting some out of the bag right now. I'm getting one out for me and one for McKay here who works with me. Here they are. They're just like the little candies wrapped in foil, but they're really good for you. They're not bad for you like candy. Super Beets Heart Chews combine non-GMO beets with a powerful new ingredient, grapeseed extract. The grapeseed extract used in Super Beets Chews has been clinically shown to be twice as effective at supporting normal blood pressure as a healthy lifestyle alone. It's great for your blood pressure. It's good for your circulation and your heart health. Better blood pressure means more energy the way nature intended without the jittery caffeine or stimulants. Now you can take just 2 delicious chews a day, anytime, anywhere, and get the blood pressure support you need and the energy you want. I take one in the morning when I wake up before I go out and do a little exercise on the bike, and then I take one in the afternoon to keep me going, keep me sharp, I hope, during the show. Do what I did and support your heart health today with delicious Super Beets chews. Get your Super Beets chews today at superbeetsradio.com/Howie. And when you buy 2 bags, they'll throw in the 3rd one for free. That's superbeetsradio.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Radio Network.
We're back with the second portion of Police Blotter Facts Friday. This is where we have the winners. Do you have any runners-up, Grace, before we get to the winners?
I think I want to get to the winners, Howie, because they're a little bit longer and they're really
Okay.
good. Man allegedly found drunk naked inside huge pipe organ.
A
This is
pipe
from
organ?
Queensland. Yes.
Where?
You mean his pipe organ was in the pipe organ?
Yes, technically, yes. Queensland.
Oh, in Australia?
Yes. Crikey. A man allegedly found drunk and naked lying inside of one.
How many Fosters did he have, mate?
Well, actually, we do get to that. It's not Foster's. One of Queensland's biggest pipe organs has been granted bail. Freemason Glenn Langford is accused of damaging the $1 million organ.
Why is
pipe.
he identified as a Freemason?
I don't know.
Must have been some meeting.
Yeah, it's weird. They keep bringing it up.
There's some more people that are going to need reparations when they start passing them out. Freemasons. They've been
Sounds
blamed
like
for
hate speech,
everything.
identifying somebody by their
Religion or
Yeah.
their club. It's like a club, isn't it? More than a
Yeah,
religion.
but he broke it.
Elks Lodge member.
It's a heritage because it's
Knights of Columbus.
he damaged the $1 million organ
Kamala Harris
pipes.
doesn't like the Knights of Columbus, you know.
He damaged the $1 million organ pipes of Brisbane's Masonic Memorial Center during a night he'd rather forget. He allegedly broke into the heritage-listed building and flooded it.
Is he
activating
a
the fire
Freemason
alarm.
or did he just break into the Freemason?
Did he flood that organ with his organ?
No, he's a Freemason, I believe. Authorities found him in the Grand Hall along with clothes, a remote-controlled police car, and a toy gun. Mr. Langford was arrested naked Wednesday night, lying amongst the organ pipes. He is accused of damaging a decorative wall and breaking several organ pipes. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Mr. Langford's
It's been
lawyer,
interesting, Grace.
Mr. Langford's lawyer said his client downed a bottle. I don't get this part. He says his client downed a bottle of Johnny Walker and had good intentions to hand out cheeseburgers to the homeless.
At the Masonic Hall? Were they the homeless were at the Masonic Hall?
Don't we all, though? Like deep down, don't we all have the good intention of handing out cheeseburgers to the homeless? He seems like a nice guy, though. He said he'd been drinking heavily and he was just sad about a breakup. And when they asked him when the 7 News
It's
asked him-
Australia. Shouldn't he have been handing out shrimp from the Barbie to the homeless rather
He
than
said-
cheeseburgers?
This was his explanation. He said, things just got a little loose. I was out of it. I apologize to all the righteous Freemasons everywhere. Okay, I got to go to the next one really quick. Woman in wheelchair robs, threatens to kill everyone at downtown Jacksonville bank. This is again, Florida. A woman in an electric wheelchair robbed a downtown Regions bank. It's the first one I had ever seen where a suspect is in an electric wheelchair and does what she does. The lieutenant said, Kenyita Lakey Gordon was arrested after
What's
the
her first name?
Kenyita.
Kenyita.
She
Okay.
was in a wheelchair with a short blonde hair, wearing a black and silver COVID-19 mask and covered in a red blanket. When they went to go find her
Yeah.
after the robbery, she was a mile away. So she was speeding on that electronic
Was she really in the
wheelchair.
wheelchair or did she just steal someone's wheelchair to use?
Now that's a case for Inspector Carr.
I'm Howie
Like
Carr.
most companies, we here